Dear brothers and sisters, River War. Former Israel Prime Minister said action might not end in Gaza. Israel's military action might not end in Gaza, warned the country's former Prime Minister, speaking to the BBC Hard Talk program. Ehud Barak warned that even without an excursion into Gaza, the conflict might deteriorate in the north with Hezbollah, and probably the Iranians might be interested. He warned of a spillover of fighting on two fronts into a clash in Gaza and at the same time with Hezbollah, a Lebanese-based Shia militant group, which the United Kingdom, United States, and other countries have designated a terrorist organization, has close ties to Iran. Mr. Barak led Israel from 1999 to 2001 and was a soldier in the Yom Kippur War in 1973. Speaking from the Tel Aviv, he said the country is united in how to respond to Hamas attack on October 7, which killed at least 1,200 Israelis. The first step is fully agreed among Israel to make this behavior erased and eliminated from the region, he said. He told Stephen Sackur that whilst people might disagree on the long-term political solution, we agree on what has to be done now. We have to paralyze any possibility of Hamas, the terror, murderous barbarian organization, to stand once again. This is agreed. Discussion about the ultimate political goals for the region must wait until after this effort to paralyze Hamas has been successful, he said. But ultimately, he said he was confident that a solution to the decades of conflict will be found. A two-state solution, an independent Israel, will secure with all its strategic assets side by side with demilitarized, viable Palestinian state. He added, this is the vision, it is not actual, it is not our job now. As I said, at least 1,300 people have been killed in the sixth day of Israel's war with the Palestinian Hamas, Israelis, including 220 Israeli Defense Forces soldiers, the Israeli army spokesman said in the morning. About 3,000 were injured people, 28 of whom are in the critical condition and 350 in serious condition. The Israeli army, which mobilized up to 360,000 reservists, is preparing for the expected land offensive, but as reported by the agency, the decision to launch it has not been made yet. Tuesday, October 17, is a day of fasting and prayer for peace in the Holy Land. The Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, on behalf of all the ordinaries of the Holy Land, announced next Tuesday as a day of fasting and prayer for peace. In this time of sadness and terror, we do not want to remain helpless. We cannot allow death and its form to be the only word we hear, wrote Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, adding that Christians today feel a special need to pray and turns to God the Father. Cardinal admits that the pain and horror of what is happening are enormous. Christians once again find themselves in the midst of a political and military crisis, in a sea of unprecedented violence. The hatred that we have unfortunately experienced for too long will increase even more, and the resulting spiral of violence will cause even greater destruction. Everything seems to talk about death, writes the Patriarch, emphasizing that in such conditions, followers of Christ can only draw the strength and peace needed to survive these difficult times only from prayer. he is my asset to this day. As Prime Minister of Great Britain during the World War II, Winston Churchill kept England and the rest of the Allies going and pushed them towards victory in the face of defeat, struggle, and adversity. This is the lesson, he said. Never give in. Never give in. Never surrender. In nothing, great or small, large or petty. Never give in except to conviction of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. Danger gathered upon our path. We cannot afford. We have no right to look back. We must look forward. I will say that he must indeed have a blind soul who cannot see that some great purpose and design is being worked out here below, of which we have not the honor to be the faithful servants. I felt as if I were walking with destiny, and that all my past life had been but a preparation for this hour and for this trial. I thought I knew a good deal about it all, and I was sure I should not fail. Centuries ago, words were written to be a call and spur to the faithful servant of truth and justice. Arm yourselves, and be you men and valor, and be in readiness for the conflict, for it is better for us to perish in battle than to look upon this outrage of our nation and our altar. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be free and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age, made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties, and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was the finest hour. A year ago, Churchill said, our position looked forlorn and well nigh desperate to all eyes but our own. Today we may say aloud before an awe-struck world, we are still masters of our fate. We still are captain of our souls. Wave after wave, dark with storm, crested with foam, surged toward the harbor in which we still sheltered. Should we drive out into the teeth of the gale, or should we bide contented where we were? Yet beyond the breakers was a great hope. This is only the beginning of the reckoning. This is only the first sip, the first foretaste of a bitter cup, which will be proffered to us year by year unless, by a supreme recovery of moral health and martial vigor, we arise again and take our stand for freedom as in the olden time. We shall go on the end. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. I would say to the House, as I said to those who have joined this government, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. Without victory, there is no survival. At the height of the World War II, Churchill guided his country through its most uncertain and daunting time. We can learn a lot about management and authority from one of Britain's greatest military leaders. He said, the nation had the lion heart. I had the luck to be called upon to give the roar. This is no war of chieftains or of princes, of dynasties or national ambition. It is a war of peoples and of causes. This is a war of the unknown warriors. But let all strive without failing in faith or in duty. And the dark curse of Hitler will be lifted from our age. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. Great battles, won or lost, change the entire course of events, create new standards of values, new moods, new atmospheres in army and in nations, to which all must conform. We shall not fail or falter. We shall not weaken or tire. Neither the sudden shock of battle, nor the long-drawn trials of vigilance and exertion will wear us down. Give us the tools and we will finish the job. You ask, what is our policy? I can say it is to wage war by sea, land and air, with all our might and with all our strength that God can give us, to wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalogue of human crime. There are many people in England, perhaps elsewhere, who seem to be unable to contemplate military operation for clear political objects, unless they can cajole themselves into the belief that their enemy are utterly and hopelessly vile. Eaten bread is soon forgotten. Dangers which were warded off by effective precaution and foresight are never even remembered. We must all turn our backs upon the horrors of the past. We must look to the future. It is better to be making the news than taking it to be an actor rather than a critic. We have not journeyed across the centuries, across the oceans, across the mountains, across the prairies, because we are made of sugar candy. Nothing in life is so exhilarating as to be shot at without result. I am prepared to meet my Maker. Whether my Maker is prepared for the great ordeal of making me is another matter. Beloved, John Paul II, he was like the sun whose light reached all continents of the world. He was from the east, from Poland, which was a huge shock for many of the day of his election on 16 October 1978. Said Archbishop Marek Jędraszewski from Krakow at the Pope's grave in St. Peter Basilica. But at the same time, you imagine, I was raised in my mother's house to believe in democracy. Trust people, I've always heard it in my subconscious. That was her message. Even then, in the times of Wojtyla's aristocracy, I saw my mother among people, greeted by crowds of workers, at meeting and on the streets. And now, with another writer, Wiesław Myśliwski, from Poland, I tell you, thanks to literature, I am free. He is a priest. He suffered from a depression. Today he works out at the gymnastic, inspiring others. And you could also say that about me. Stanisław Barszczak, never give in. On Sunday, October 15, 2022, Poles, people of my nation, will elect a new parliament. Let the beast win.